Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KMB the Sex Ninja in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We're talking about NXT, January 16th, 2024. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary. We got a big night here at NXT. We started off with a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Trick Mellow Gang versus Idris, Inofi, and Malik Blade. Found out I've been saying his name wrong. I was like Malik Blade or something like that, but I apologize. Malik. Fun match to start off the show. I really like the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It definitely showcases great tag team matches. And I love a good tag team match. And this was a fun one. And Trick Mellow Gang are going to move on in this tournament. And I'm very excited. And I'm also like curious where we're going with this. Like, you know, is at Vengeance Day, if they do make it all the way in this tournament, is that where Carmelo's going to stab Trick in the back, you know, and we have a big return tonight that's going to happen later on, but we have Fallon Henley who's going to be part of this big number one contender battle royale to see who's going to be the number one contender for Lyra's championship. And Fallon Henley had 3 words to say to y'all. Yeehaw, bitch. I love that. That needs to be on the shirt. Lola and Elektra, they're backstage. They have a big tag team match tonight against Tatum and Lyra, and they're talking, and Lola still has that contract, and Tatum's out of nowhere, she's just behind the star like, hi, you know. It just made me laugh just because she's just like, hey, I'm going, you know. Oba Femi, you know, big win for him last week, North American champion, and Dragon Lee interrupts, and Dragon Lee's like, hey, you know, and I gotta say real quick, they had this like little chant for him and for Oba. It was like, oh, you know, it's like not a big every time Oba was talking, but he's a big dude, and I think making him the North American champion is going to be interesting because I want to see what he can do. He's also stated when Dragon Lee was like, all right, you know, I'll face you right now. And Oba's like, nah. Those open challenges or whatever for this championship, those doors are closed. But Dragon Lee says, okay, well then Vengeance Day. And Oba says, I'll think about it. So I'm thinking it's going to happen at Vengeance Day. We have Eddie Thorpe backstage with Hank and Tank. And then Bear Hill comes in. And Bear Hill's like, yeah, we got to represent, right? Oh, yeah. You know. But then here comes Dijak, and I was like, whoa. He's like, what's this little powwow? I was like, damn. I was like, racist much? I'm just kidding. And it's funny, it's like, with Eddie Thorpe and with Bear Hill, it's just funny that they do the paint, they do the jewelry and everything like that. Even though I know they're representing hard, as a Native American, I see that, I'm like, man, we could do something so much more, you know. But representation is important, as I always believe, and it's cool now that in pro wrestling we're getting, you know, even though we've had them in the past, but they've always had the headdresses and stuff like that. And but Eddie, I think Eddie's going to come into his own. I think Bear Hill, he's still fresh, you know, he'll come into his own, but definitely sets up Bear Hill and Dijak for later on. Mello and Trick backstage, you know, they're getting hyped. They're like, yeah, we moved on. And then here comes Ilya Dragunov, and he's just like, hey, Trick, you know, they want to let me be cleared to fight and everything like that, but I'm back now, and me and you at Vengeance Day. Trick gets so excited, and Mello's like, well, what about me? What about me? You know? And I think that's where the jealousy is going to set in, especially on Mello's side. When Trick's like, he's just so excited. And he's like, yeah, dog, I get my championship, you know? We have Lyra and Tatum versus Lola and Elektra. Lyra and Tatum got the win, but this whole Tatum thing is making me laugh because she's dressed like Lyra. Like, she's obsessed with Lyra. I laughed so hard because I was like, wait, and I looked at her outfit. I was like, oh, they're taking crazy to a whole nother level between these two. But I am interested to know what Tatum's end game is with Lyra. That's what I'm really interested in. Women's locker room, they're ready for battle. Ariana Grace is giving her speech. You know, she's like, oh, I'm going to win. And Then at the end of it, she's left alone. Ariana Grace is one of those, like, she can wrestle. but this character, this pageant or whatever, I just don't care for it. Like, when she comes on TV and she's talking, I'm like, okay. But I thought this was kind of silly just because she's doing her speech and then everyone just leaves her alone. Ridge Holland on the road to redemption versus Joe Coffey with Gallus on the outside. Ridge Holland gets the win. But the best part about this is, it was the beat. This wasn't the best part, but the best part about this beatdown on Ridge is when they're attacking him. They kept panning to the entrance, like someone's going to come save Ridge. Who's going to save Ridge? And then Joe and them, they all stopped a few times, like, where's our cue? They kept looking like somebody was going to come, and then Joe's like, no one's coming for you, and they beat him down. But it was just funny, like, if you watch this, that, like, literally, even the camera keeps panning to the entrance, like, who's going to help? Who's going to help? No one wants to help Ridge, you know? So that I found that kind of funny. NXT Anonymous doing this thing with Thea and JC, they're, you know, backstage, and, you know, who is NXT Anonymous? Kalani Jordan's backstage. She's getting ready, you know, and I think they're getting ready for a big push with her. I do like Kalani Jordan. She has grown as a character, also as a wrestler, and I think she has much more room to grow and be a superstar. Here's my favorite part of the show too. Baron and Braun are backstage. Well, Baron's doing an interview, and Braun's like, "Oh, hey, well, you told me the interview was at 9:30." And Baron's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Look at this text. That's what you said." And they're going back and forth, and Braun starts, you know, Baron's like, "Yeah, you know, I led this team. I brought this team together. I made them focus, you know." And then Braun's like, "What are you talking about?" Then Braun starts going like, "Hey, man, you know, well, blah blah. The Wolf Dogs are gonna take on this thing." And Baron stops and goes, wait, what? He goes, "Wait, what did you say?" He's like, no, the thing before. No, the thing before. No, what did you call us? He goes, "The Wolf Dogs." And fucking Baron's like, "How long did it take you to come up with that?" Braun's like, 3 to 4 weeks, you know? He goes, "I was in the shower." And Baron's like, whoa, so you were thinking of me while you were in the shower?" He's like, "No, I was thinking of us." It's just adding to the layers of comedy to this thing and the Wolf Dogs. And I found it so funny because Baron's reaction to everything, and they're playing off each other so well. And, Baron Corbin's like, "No, we're not the Wolf Dogs." And he goes, "You got anything better than that? Come on, Braun." And he goes, all right. I got another one. Wild Boars. Baron's like, "What the fuck?" Then Braun asked her, the person interviewing him, she was like, "He's an a-hole, right?" And then she's like, "I have to be unbiased." And she's like, "But to be honest, you're both a-holes." And I don't know if that's going to play into effect of the team name, but the Wolf Dogs, I thought was gold. This whole little segment right here, it shows that Braun has a little bit of personality as well, and that's what I appreciated about this whole interview right here with Baron. And I'm interested to see where they're going to go in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which is the next match we have with the LWO versus Chase U, Duke and Riley. Mr. Chase is on the outside, and LWO got the win. I was like, oh, okay, I see you, LWO, Cruz and Wild, I see you. So they're moving on, and they're gonna face Trick Mellow Gang, which I'm like, now that's a match I want to see. That is a match I definitely want to see. I'm all for that match right there. So, and we got the families backstage. You know, Adriana Rizzo's, you know, they're trying to hype her up. They're like, "Hey, you know, you got this battle royale." They're like, "Hey, you took care of you know, you took care of that one person, like, bada bing." It's like, but she deserved it. You know, she's going out. She's like, yeah, but that's what you got to think about this. You got to think about everyone else, and they deserve it. And then she's like, okay, so they're hyping up Rizzo. Riz will take care of Biz. Joe Gacy gets on commentary. He's going to be on commentary for Dijak versus Trey Bearhill. Before this match starts, we had Noam Dar backstage with Von Wagner and Mr. Stone. Vaughn and Noam Dar, they're doing math, and Vaughn's mostly doing math, but there's going to be a match here soon, I believe, for that Heritage Cup between Noam Dar and Von Wagner. So now we get into Dijak versus Trey Bearhill. Dijak gets the win, but this was a hard hitting match. I'm not gonna lie. I think Trey Bearhill has some room to grow and everything like that. But afterwards, after Dijak wins, here comes Joe Gacy because Dijak and Joe got in each other's faces. And even Joe used a headbutt to get Dijak. But after that attacks, and then here comes Lexis King to attack Trey Bearhill. So that story's not done. And we go to Josh Briggs backstage. You know, he's sitting there and watching matches and everything like that. And here comes JBL, and he tells him, like, hey, man, you want to know why I picked you for the tournament? And he goes, no, because I'm a big dude. He goes, no, you're more than that. You know, kind of giving him some motivation and everything like that, especially from JBL. He's like, hey, man, I was drinking and the cards. I put those things down, and I got the business to show this company who I am. And that's what I think you can do too, Josh. I thought that was really cool for Josh Briggs as a learning moment, and also too getting the words from JBL. No quarter catch crew package. You know, they're really going with that name. Mel and Trick backstage, so we continue the story here. Trick's like, hey Mel, I'm very sorry, Mello, that I got excited, you know, kind of overshadowing us and his tag team, but, you know, I know it's at Vengeance Day, but hey, we're going to win the tournament so we can win the tag team championships, and I can go on and beat Ilya Dragunov for the NXT championship. And Melo's like, yeah, that's good, you know, but you can see it in his face, you can see it in his eyes that he's still a little jealous. He's a little jealous. Like, he's like, I'm going after the tag team championships, but yeah, that I feel like Vengeance Day is the day we get to see Carmelo go in the full heel, and I'm all for that. And then we build up the Trick Melo, you know, trilogy of matches. You know, one wins one wins the other. Then we have the big rubber match. I'm excited to see where we go with these two. Now the number one contender battle royale. Then it turns into a fatal four-way when we get down to the last four. Oh man. I'm not big on battle royals. Like, sometimes they can be good, sometimes they can be entertaining, sometimes they can just be plain like, okay, come on, let's get this going. But I will say this for the NXT women's division, they fucking rocked it. Like, this was the match of the night, especially when we got down to the final four. Roxanne Perez, Fallon Henley, Jordan, Kiana James. Oh my gosh, I was on the edge of my seat for this whole, like I was like, oh my God, they're doing crazy spots, and it just became hard hitting. And man, these four tore down the house, and then we got a "This is awesome" chant, and which was earned just because these four tore it down in the end, and it came all the way down to Roxanne Perez. She's going to face Lyra at Vengeance Day, February 4th, 2024 for the NXT Women's Championship. The contract signings next week. Lyra comes out, Roxanne's there, and Roxanne has a little bit of new fire in her eyes, and her, you know, there's a great shot when she like steps outside the ring. She's looking at Lyra, and like her makeup's kind of running and stuff like that, but she looks so badass. Like, she just went through battle, she went through war. Now we're going to get Roxanne versus Lyra at Vengeance Day, and I'm all for it, baby. I'm all for it. So, really great NXT. My match tonight is this Battle Royale turned into a Fatal 4. Next up to that, I got to say, it was a Trick Mello Gang versus Inofi and Malik. Really fun match. Next up, LWO and Chase U. Great tag team matches is what we're going for here. Great show. I had a lot of fun, and you got to check out this Battle Royale turn into a Fatal 4-Way. It is awesome. Shout out to the women's division here for tearing down the house, and I cannot wait to see Roxanne and Lyra, and I can't wait for NXT Vengeance Day. You know, we got Royal Rumble here in a couple weeks, and it's my 3-day weekend for that week, and then we get NXT Vengeance Day. Bring it on, baby! So, 5 out of 5 for the show. NXT, January 16th, 2024. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Share it with your grandma, share it with your grandpa, share it with the bum down at Walmart. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get yourself that sweet NWP logo created by Penta X. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Breakout championship. I dropped Dragon Lee last week. And now with this title,